bit in the pregame. SK Telecom T1 have 2 junglers, and they are putting Blank in for Bengi. Now, what I was interesting is in their semifinal match against Rocks Tigers, Blank actually lost 2 games straight. Bengi actually went 3-0 individually in the matchup. They won their semifinal 3-2 off the back of Bengi.
Well, if they want
this one, Blank is in.
If they want objective control, maybe that's what they're going for here. You just had a 71-minute long game, and now you put in a fresh player. You put in somebody who didn't have to go through all of those smite steals and also those contests.
That is fair, but at the same time, how nervous are you stepping into the stage when you have not warmed up at all? He's sitting cold on the sidelines watching these games, and now he just has to walk out and start playing. I think it's very, very scary, and SKT forced to ban away the Zyra because they are not able to play in this fortune, and they're not willing to first pick it.
And they're afraid of last pick misfortune on the red side. They'd rather ban the Zyra than ban the MF and play that dance. And you're right, it is a battle of pros and cons for subbing Blank in here, because while he is a little bit cold, he got to watch 3 straight games of Ambition jungling, with the Fog of War revealed, talking with Coach Combe and saying, I've got you downloaded. My internet's good enough here. I'm Korean. Internet infrastructure is amazing in Korea. It's a joke. We're in America, of course. But I've got you downloaded. Ambition, I can smash you in this game. And he's had basically 3 hours of footage to say, I know what you're going to do, and I'm ready for it.
And that's definitely something to be said for that. But at the same time, how many hours do you have to watch of Ambition before you can download this guy? You can watch games from all through groups, semifinals, quarterfinals. There are hundreds and hundreds of hours you can watch of this guy, and I think Ambition is good enough to change up his play, to use differing routes, and we'll see if he can do that.
I will say, though, that Ambition on Lee Sin is actually rather predictable. He's not going for those early plays where he tries to kick you back. He goes for them more around the mid-game, and he does the standard counter when he sees you on one side of the map. So you know he's going to play it by the book in that regard, and he doesn't take a whole lot of risks. Whereas if it were a jungler like Rocks Tigers jungler Peanut, that guy is really crazy. You don't know what he's going to do. Ambition's a little bit more calculated.
And speaking of risks, you're seeing a risk come out here for Samsung Galaxy. 3 games in a row, they banned Ashe. They banned the champion that SKT first picked here. And Samsung Galaxy said, we do not want to deal with this champion. This Ashe will go over to Bang, an AD carry, a marksman, a long-range damage dealer. And Ashe, I think, has the best of both worlds. She has a lot of damage output, and she has an infinite range stun if it lands.
Exactly, but now they have their hands on Jhin finally. It's been in the hands of Bang every single game, and it's one of Ruler's best champions. He's been popping up, he's been performing really well today, so this is a great champion for him, and it looks like comfort for Samsung Galaxy.
It certainly does, and they will decide not to take the Aurelion Soul, so it is going to be Viktor again, and just, you know, we've talked a lot about some of these champions that have been getting picked up quite a bit, but to speak about Ashe a bit more, it's more about, you know, she does do a lot of damage, but it's more about her utility, right? You talked about the infinite range stun. It's an arrow. You shoot out across the map, and the further away you are, the longer the stun is. So if you can hit these really long-range shots, you can have massively long stuns, and your team can follow up on it. It's a great pick ability, especially in combination with Nami, who has that tidal wave that we have seen in action. You hit someone with that stun, then the tidal wave comes crashing in, and they're CC'd for so long, you can take them down.
Yep, it's a global ultimate as well, has unlimited range, so it will travel the entire way, the Ashe arrow. So you can hit somebody from very far away. My question now is, does Faker go with the Orianna? It looks like it.
Wow, Zach.
But yep.
Zach, an unlikely champion. We've seen it a little bit here at Worlds, but it's still been more uncommon than not. And a nice tank initiator coming out of the jungle role. He's going to be beefy. He's going to start some fights out. And SKT, in pretty much every single position, have some way to start a battle.
Yeah, and it's all about long-range initiation for SKT. So we talked about the arrow, the tidal wave. Now Zach has an ability called Elastic Slingshot. That's his initiation. He can basically charge up and fly into the fight. And if he lands on you, full screen away at the max rank at level 9. And if he lands on you, you get popped. Walk behind you and knock you back into the team, and has very powerful long-range initiation. But it's worth mentioning that Kennen has been selected as the last pick for CuVee, and this is a good matchup against Gnar. We saw him get a lot ahead in farm against Gnar previously. He had those advantages, but then they kept diving him. They kept killing him off under turret. So it'll be interesting to see if Ambition can protect him and allow him to kind of extend his lead.
Yeah, I would call this a time-sensitive counter pick, where Kennen will win early game, will win in the first 7 levels, but then as soon as Gnar gets one completed item, it really turns around onto Kennen, because the first completed item for Kennen, the Proto Belt, usually doesn't pack much punch until later in the game. It just allows you to have wave clear, which you normally don't, and you get to play a little bit safer and, you know, team fight a little bit better. But the Gnar definitely beats you late game.
The one caveat to that I would say is if you get enough ahead, you can really kind of snowball it. But I definitely agree, it's time sensitive. He has to get something done early, and we'll see if Ambition can help him to do that.
It's going to be an interesting battle here. 2-1 so far for SK Telecom T1, but we're getting ourselves into Game 4 once again. Blank has subbed in for Bengi. SKT have had a very long history of finding a jungler to suit their team. They have tried to substitute Bengi out so many times, and yet he's always been the one to play clutch when it really seemed to matter. But once again, SKT have subbed him out. Blank is in, a fresh face for the roster on this Zach. You're seeing him on your screen right now. And one of the newest additions to SKT can be here to close out the series.
And I wonder what the idea is behind this, because if you're bringing in Blank and he's playing a champion that Bengi doesn't play with the Zach, is there a specific strategy here from SKT to go after low mobility champions like Crown's Viktor or like Ruler's Jhin?
And I think that's exactly it, Zirene, you know. Jhin especially, you pop the ultimate, you're locked in place, right? If Zach jumps in on this guy's head, knocks him in, he can't really fight back very well. He's not very good at killing off tanks, and I think that that's also something that they're bringing a lot of here for SKT. If you have, you know, the Zach and the Gnar up in your face, it's very tough for Ruler to deal with that.
Definitely agree, and it's going to be something to watch for. Of course, he's on Jhin, who is pretty easy to pick off if left alone. He's got to play this one right. Worth pointing out, CoreJJ is not going to have nearly the same kind of damage output he did last game playing the Zyra. He's on a more traditional support in this Karma. The goal is to shield his allied champions and put the damage resource on everybody else.
Yep. During the early game, it's to help shove the wave and be an AoE source of damage and trade a little bit. But up against Wolf's Nami, who sustains, you really do have to make those trades count, or else they rubber band back on you, and then you end up losing them. So yeah, supports basically go at it. AD carries just farm, supports try to kill each other.
It's the way the laning phase is played, basically. They're not tied down by killing minions. That's not how they get their income here. Faker pushes in the mid lane wave first. You can see him roaming out of his lane, looking for a little something to do. And this Trinket Ward will let him know if that Lee Sin comes down to that side of the map. Now, he doesn't know where he is for sure. He knows he's not right there, and he might get vision very soon of Ambition.
And it's one of those little things that he gained the ability to do that because he skilled a certain ability. His Q clears out the minion wave faster, so he killed off his minions sooner, could go over, had the extra time to do that. And this is a little adaptation for Faker. A lot of people often start with the E, the shield for Orianna, and he decided to start with this ability to kill minions faster and get that ward.
You see fairly similar starts for both junglers. They both started near their red buff, which were on opposite sides of the map. And they'll continue to kind of cross paths and go different ways throughout the map.
It does pay off, though, for Faker, because he does see Ambition's route, because Ambition goes across that ward. So now they know what side he's on.
They know he's going to be on the right-hand side of the map now, but nice little trade right there. Can't quite land the Deadly Flourish. If he did, it would have meant maybe 200 to 300 damage in towards Bang on that Ashe. Quick ward comes out. That's actually a defensive ward coming through that Blank just put down. If Ambition wants to invade into the jungle, he will be spotted doing so.
Certainly will, and that's going to be very, very big, especially because Zach is someone who kind of wants to farm a little bit more in the early game, get a couple levels, and you know, we talked about the elastic slingshot, his kind of jump-in ability. And one of the unique things about that is it increases the range with every extra point you put in it. So your first level in it, you don't really jump that far. But once you're getting at the higher and higher levels in it, level 9, you get your max rank of the ability, you can jump super far, and the initiation becomes very hard to track. You could like hide in the raptor pit, kind of jump over the wall and kill someone in mid lane.
All right, so both blue buffs transferred over successfully. What's convenient about both of these junglers that Blank and Ambition are playing is they don't actually use mana to cast any of their spells. They have very little use for that buff, but now, a trade of resources, and Crown took that fight and lost his ghost because Faker was ready for him.
And this is going to be interesting here too, because Ambition is actually hanging around the mid lane. He shows himself right now, and that actually...
Can they find the play? The cute knives! He's going to land it. Faker's getting low. He's not quite going to die. The flash chase! Red buff is going to do enough damage. It's not quite going to do it. Faker slinks away with just a sliver of health left.
But he showed himself there, so that actually tells Blank, hey, go top, see if you can hit CuVee.
Lands it slow. That's going to force the flash. CuVee had to flash. He would have died if he didn't do it. Dodging away from the knock-up, the short-range elastic slingshot.
Well played. So the two junglers battling back and forth, but giving that advantage to Crown, I think, is very big, because Crown on his Viktor is someone who wants to stay in lane until they have their 1,200 gold. He can upgrade an item, a unique item that Viktor has, called the Hex Core. When he upgrades this, he can level up one of his abilities and basically allows his laser to kind of attack twice, and he can kill off the minions very, very easily. So it's super powerful and super important that you hit that benchmark before you base.
Yep, he actually backs right now with 1,200.
If it turns yellow, he can do it.
He's
But
not doing it. To do it.
Yeah, he doesn't have the 1,250.
he's 40 gold shy, so he buys Boots of Speed, upgrades them into Ionian Boots of Lucidity instead, and that is not what he wanted, but it's what he had to do.
So Ionian Boots of Lucidity will give you cooldown reduction, but will also give you reduced summoner spell cooldown, and on mid laners, it is incredibly good. You'd think they want magic penetration boots, but because he's running Flash and Ghost both, he gets very low cooldowns on those, so if he trades summoner spells with Faker, he actually gets his up earlier and then can make a play on him.
It's a very interesting little thing, and especially, we talked about it before, trading a summoner spell like Ghost, which has a lower cooldown, for a bigger one like Flash could be very, very nice, and he's going to be looking to do that, and you can do it more aggressively with the Ghost.
You can see what they can do with that one. Right now the spell's on cooldown. We look back to the bottom lane here where they've traded pretty equally. You want to compare the second to the bottom, the numbers there, 47 versus 44, I believe it is. The number of minions that these two AD carries, the two marksmen have killed, and it's pretty close together.
So what Wolf is doing right here is he's actually holding the wave so that the person, the AD carry, Bang, can walk up and get all the gold, because the supports, man, even if gold's in your face, you don't get to take it. You basically make sure and guarantee that your AD carry gets the gold.
And if he hadn't done anything at all, they would have run into the turret. The turret would have killed them off, and no one would have gotten the gold. You can still get the experience by being nearby, but you must deal the last hit to the minion yourself if you want the gold out of it, and that's what he guaranteed by holding up the wave like that.
Yep, certainly, and a little move we saw in the mid lane there was actually Crown expending his ultimate, trying to deal a bunch of damage to Faker to push him back out of lane, but Faker has already purchased a refillable potion, which is going to basically fill back up, give him 2 charges of this health potion every time he goes back to base, and he's just able to expend that and stay pretty healthy here, so it kind of didn't work out that well for Crown.
Yeah, not getting terribly much done, but I believe the blue buff was still on him, and of course he has these aforementioned cooldown boots, so it's going to be up pretty quickly. He can try again later. It's a question we got on the stream a little while ago. Why do people use their ultimates at full health champions? Because sometimes you're not going to need it. There's no impending team fight. So you might as well just cast the spell, get something done, and trust that it'll be back up when you need it.
Yeah, it's the concept we talked about trading, and sometimes it's even worth just trading your ultimate.
Flash and Ghost use now the re-engage on towards Faker, trying to get some damage in, but he pops his own Ghost, pops one of his spells as well for even more movement speed, and gets away with that, but Blank forcing a flash with that gank.
There are also a couple of good reasons to also trade ultimates or use your ultimate to chunk somebody out. Force them to have a bad back where they don't have the exact gold that they want for their next item, or you're making sure that they're low enough HP that when your jungler comes in, you can get a kill off of it.
Yeah, absolutely the case. Just getting them low for the future attempts. And it's one of the things, right? You track how many minions your opponent is killing and deducing, okay, he killed these many, he's got this much money, but he wants that much, so I've got 30 seconds to prevent him from getting the item he really wants.
It's actually really interesting as well, because I've heard it before where if you can force somebody to back off, it's just as good as a kill. It's basically you got a kill that gave you no gold, but you remove the person from the map for 20 seconds.
So they missed maybe 150, 100 gold worth of minion kills.
And you get to do whatever you want. You get to get vision, you get to get pressure.
Certainly very important, and it's also key to note some of these wards that Samsung have placed. So you can see, if you look down below SKT's red buff, there's actually a pink ward there you'll see on the mini-map, and that's been there for quite some time, and has already spotted out Blank once on Zac. So they know where he is, that he's going to be clearing from the bottom side up to the top side, and this is a great spot to kind of hide one of these wards. And the cool thing about the pink ward is it lasts forever if it's not killed off, so that's going to get a lot of value.
Yeah, and they also don't know that he's on the, they know that he's not on the bottom side of the map now, so Ambition goes to the top side.
Another steal. Ambition has actually taken several camps in a row now. He just stole away that Gromp. He stole the big Raptor a little while ago as well, landing those smites and playing in Blank's face. He's really not disturbed by the new one coming in right there. Now CuVee in a trade up against Duke, getting a fair bit of damage down, but not enough to kill him off. And again, using the ultimate for some damage to force a recall.
And he's going to be able to do that. At the same time, we have Blank on the Zac trying to take out the blue buff. We'll see if Ambition has the kind of ability to go to contest that. Doesn't look like he does, because it would be pretty risky with his mid laner back in base, and that's basically because your mid laner has to be there to support you if it ends up being a 2v2, right? If you go by yourself and Faker comes over to help Blank, then it's a 2v1, it's an unfair fight, probably gonna die.
Yeah, you did have the top lane advantage with CuVee forcing Duke back and Duke having no teleport, but CuVee had just expended his ultimate to do that, so he didn't have his high impact ability.
Ooh, they land the root on the banks, the tidal wave comes out to displace, and that's going to force the stop, and now the arrow's going to land. They found CoreJJ, the double bubble. That was a great aim right there, CCing both of them, crowd controlling, knock him into the air, but no kills come through still. Summoner's burned. Really
great battle back and forth there, and that's the power of the Nami tidal wave. Jhin locked in position doing this ultimate. She throws it out, interrupts it, and they almost got a kill on CoreJJ, but it was a good exhaust from him to stop the damage from Bang.
Yeah, you're going to see that every single time that the Nami wave will come out when the Jhin goes for the ultimate, to make sure that he can't get those shots off, because that's a large part of his damage and his team fight utility. So make sure that you can stop him from doing that, and that's one of the hard counters.
And even though no kills came through, 3 of the 4 summoner spells in that bottom lane were used in order to get away. They both flashed out, or sorry, one flashed out, the heal was used, the exhaust was used as well,
Samsung's
so those aren't available.
Will they contest?
Keep in mind, though, there are some missing cooldowns from the Samsung Galaxy bottom lane. They are weaker, but not weak enough that the Drake fighting back, that Infernal Drake, pushes SKT off.
Yeah, and they're happy to just push them off it. They don't need to take it themselves. They're saying, you can't get it. That's enough for now. We'll set up for a better time later. And Samsung has been so good about their Dragon control. This really speaks to the importance they place on it, especially the Infernal Dragon, which is that one that gives you more damage. Teams put a lot of importance on this.
Definitely do, and you're going to see them continue to try to fight for posture and control over this side of the map. We know that Samsung Galaxy has done a very good job controlling Drakes, and in fact, if they're able to control the vision, it will be easy for Ambition to solo that Infernal Drake like he's done so many times in this series, and just a couple of wards is all it might take. Another nice trade out from CuVee. You can see this is what the matchup is supposed to look like when you don't have that kind of gank pressure. The champion that Blank has picked is not nearly as strong early into the game for pile driving a top laner and taking them out of the game. He's just got to farm a lot more and play a bit slower of a style. And because of the bans, because of the picks, he's not been able to stop CuVee from pushing Duke around. A nice shockwave is going to land, and here comes Blank looking for a bit to do, but it's not going to be enough. The Ghost, the runaway Crown, is able to dodge out from the elastic slingshot and not lose much for it.
And you were talking about what was going on in the top side of the map. They're keeping really good tabs from Samsung Galaxy side on Blank. They usually know where he is. Ambition is walking straight into the jungle to try and get tabs on him. So that allows your lanes like CuVee to continue punishing and winning the early game in the matchup.
And so much of that is just that one ward we talked about below the red buff still hasn't been found. Every time that Blank goes and tries to clear out the jungle camps on that side, he walks past this ward, and you can infer where he could be, where he cannot be. They know how long it takes to walk across the map, what camps he'd be going for next, and they can play around that, and they're doing it very well.
I'm taking a little bit of information, extrapolating all the rest. This time around, he won't get spotted doing it. He jumped around the kind of correct way, but that's just because that's the path he took, not because he knows that ward is there. He'd kill it if he knew, but he's able to sneak into the bottom side of the map. But
now he's going to walk by the ward. We'll see if he actually decides to clear it out, but I think, yeah, now he's spotted. And he doesn't notice the ward again.
And Ambition is going to start on this Infernal Drake. He's going to have Crown come help and Blink. Will he look? Will he go for the play? Right now, there's not really any vision, but Tidal Wave is actually going to catch out a little bit on the Ruler. Doesn't really matter. No engage comes through for SKT, and yet again, the Drake control is here for Samsung Galaxy. And on top of that, the lanes aren't losing nearly as hard as they were before. Now it's actually an advantage thanks to that Drake.
And you got to kind of wonder, Blank is a guy who's a very high-level juggler. Normally you would check these spots, and he has walked past this so many times and not checked once. Is this nerves? Is this him kind of getting in his own head and not taking all the steps? You know, having to sub in Game 4 of the World Championship. This champion thrives on the element of surprise. You're supposed to fly in from outside of their vision and get these ganks off, completely taking them off guard, and he's not able to do it because he always gets spotted.
It's actually ruining him right now.
It is.
Because they just saw him on the bottom side of the map.
So now he goes top side.
Ambition goes top, CuVee. So this is also really good as well. So you're thinking, okay, maybe he didn't get a gank here, Ambition isn't getting a kill. If Ambition kills both of these camps,
which he will
infer for the next 30 seconds, Blank has nothing to do on the top side of the map.
He does even more here. So he just smites away. He uses smite on the large wolf, that little green spirit you just saw at the bottom of the screen. That will track any champion that SKT has that walks in that area of the map. Anyone who walks into that jungle will be pinged out and spotted by this little AI spirit. More helpful than Na'Vi. Link wishes he had this on his side, and they know that the blue was being handed over.
Yeah, it's really tough because on the bot side, Blank gets spotted, so then they go on the top side. Now he's spotted out again, and he has no camps. What's he supposed to do, right?
In.
Yeah, and this is a thing that's like a higher level counter jungle thing, is that these camps take about 1 minute and 15 seconds to respawn.
100 seconds flat.
So
140.
140? So 140. It takes 1 minute 40 seconds to respawn. So now you know that he's not going to be on the top side of the map. So next thing Blank's going to do is probably go to the bottom side because that's where his camps are. So Lee Sin gets to make a play on the top side. And you can see he's taking his sweet time.
And you can see CuVee trying to play too aggressively, trying to show like he's making a mistake and said, yeah, I'm playing up in your face, fight me back, because his own jungler, Ambition, was sitting right behind him in that brush. He's since left, but was trying to bait a fight there.
But you know what's key, and we haven't really talked about it. If you take a look at the HP on the turret for Crown in the mid lane, which we will be able to show here shortly, look how low that is now. That's from Faker, pushing in his opponent, zoning him off with that Orianna ball, which is kind of how you cast all your spells, and then auto-attacking it down.
Another trade in this one. Shotgun's going to land. A lot of damage to Faker, forcing him to flash away. And here comes Let's Bounce. Here comes the re-engage, looking to kill off Crown. He flashes out, stays alive with it for now, and he's going to get away with this one, dodging away from the arrow shot out by Bang. The re-engage not going to land from Blank either, and it's just a trade of spells. No kills to be had. Now a fight on the top side of the map. CuVee looking for a little bit more in the Duke, and in fact, this Gnar forced to flash to get away. One more shot will do it, and the solo kill, his 16th. CuVee at the World.
That is absolutely massive, and it's all back to tracking Blank, allowing CuVee to play safe. Remember earlier in the day, they had the same matchup. CuVee got ahead, but he couldn't play aggressive. Instead, he was getting killed.
And now it's Faker, who's taking a lot of damage, rooted up, can't run, and Ruler lands the snipe. They're looking for more. Blank about to lose his life, flashes away just in time to not be killed off.
And that was a big, big play there, because Ruler, this is a good thing about Jhin, is you can just roam to the mid lane, set up, and start having an angle on the mid lane and pick people off. And you were talking about that top side with the pressure, Azael, where CuVee, he got an advantage in this soft counter. Well, he was able to complete the Proto Belt before Duke even had an item. So that gave him an advantage. Duke, don't know what he's doing here. He walks so far forward and then tries to Gnar him, tries to actually stun up the Kennen, but the Kennen will return those stuns and gets multiple on him, and even the dive.
Yeah, and you talked about Gnar gets strong at that one item, right, Zirene? He doesn't have a completed item yet, and CuVee has that kind of cheaper completed item, the Proto Belt, and he's able to use that to great effect to complete that solo kill. And here is that replay once again. A great snipe from Ruler with the Jhin ultimate, taking down Faker, and they even got more afterwards, forcing out Blank's flash, and it's almost comical at this point how long that pink ward has lasted.
I know, it's really funny. And I mean, we've talked about this before, is does fatigue set in? Do your nerves start getting frayed? And you'd expect that veterans like the members of SKT wouldn't have that happen to them. But even in the replay we saw, Faker gets out from behind his team and gets hit by that snipe. We've seen this entire series how good Samsung have been at never letting that curtain call get a kill. Almost never has that ultimate done anything for Bang. But on his roughly first attempt, Ruler snipes out Faker, who fails to dodge properly or let his teammates block.
Yeah, and in the bot lane there, Bang actually went for an Ashe ulti, and it was a really nice sidestep by Ruler. He popped his Ghostblade active, gives him more move speed. He has Swifty boots, turret, and he got away from it.
Nicely done. First turret going in for Samsung Galaxy. Ambition gives a little bit of help to CuVee, and the matchup pays dividends now. A big lead for Samsung Galaxy.
And so the way that Kennen works is Kennen will win this matchup early. If you put more into it, it'll crush it. But eventually, Kennen doesn't have enough to really kill the Gnar, so Kennen starts killing everybody else on the team. So CuVee...
Not a bad trade-off.
Exactly. CuVee doesn't really have to care too much about this lane anymore. He cares about team fights. If he can get on Bang or Faker, he's ahead of the curve and can get some kills.
Here's a fight in the mid lane.
The trade of cooldowns. It's not going to be Zach quite reaching the target that he wants, but there's the knockup. Looking for all that he really needs, trying to pick off Crown. The shield's still coming through. They just can't quite kill him, but finally, Wolf finds the kill, gets him with the jump, but now the re-engage. A Mega Gnar comes through, and Ambition gets stunned up against the wall. Now he's got to run. Stunned up by the Gnar as well. Duke pushing him out of the jungle, entirely out of the lane, and the chase continues. It's going to be bad for CuVee. He's running for dear life, gets around the spells. Can he get the raid for the rest of it? The jump in, it's not going to be enough. What an escape by CuVee.
He saved the Proto Belt to jump out at the last second there. Very well done by CuVee using that item, but Duke in the mid lane will at least take down a turret, and that was a pretty disjointed fight there from Samsung. You know, there were some definite mistakes. We could see Ambition wasn't blocking Zach's damage ability. Zach punched forward. Ambition could have blocked that and kind of kept his mid laner alive. So some uncharacteristic mistakes from them.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see how Crown got low again, because it's this, the shockwave comes out from him, and then they're trying to turn it around on Faker, but Wolf is there as well, so they weren't expecting the third member.
And now you can see more Drake control for Samsung Galaxy. They've done this the entire way through this match. It's something that SKT just have not put the resources into in trying to control this part of the map. They have the Infernal Drake. Again, more attack damage, more ability power, just more damage in general. The Mountain Drake is even better in a lot of cases. More damage to the other Drakes, to Baron Nashor, and to turrets that they've been trying to siege down the rest of this game.
Rest in peace, Pink Ward, about 4 minutes to 20 minutes, who did hang out there, and it's finally down. And that's when you kind of get that sick feeling in your stomach where you're clearing that out and you're like, oh God, how long was that there? No wonder all my ganks didn't work.
Yep. And look at that, more pressure being done. You saw some allocation of resources. Samsung Galaxy defended the top lane outer turret, but just straight 2-on-2. They knocked down the bottom lane one. Actually, I guess Lee Sin was there, so maybe it's a 3-on-2. But either way, the resources allocated well enough to get some of this done.
And this is once again the shockwave coming in onto Crown. They weren't really expecting Wolf to be there as well. Great tidal wave to cut off the options, because Crown can't walk to the right because that's where Faker is. So he has to walk to the left and try to walk towards CuVee, but Blank already on top of him.
I feel like Crown could have just ran straight out, though, with those shields. When he uses his Q, he gets a shield, and he got a Q from the Lee Sin safeguard who jumped in there, tried to protect him. But he kind of tried to walk back and fight. And I think had he run straight up into the jungle, he could have got out of there. But here is that escape from CuVee, as he was just barely able to get out again. Had so little health.
Yeah, the E had just come off of cooldown, and then the Proto Belt to give him that little extra boost. Of course, the E gives him increased movement speed for a short duration.
Yep. Also some more armor and MR, which is very handy for those Kennen engage. We talked about how the champion likes to kind of flank and come in behind, and that speed boost, along with the Proto Belt, jumping forward and using your flash too, is what kind of enables him to get these big fights.
Now let's see what we can do with this one. The Drakes won't spawn for quite a while, 6 minutes between each one, and the Mountain Drake was killed very recently. Nonetheless, SKT and Samsung both fighting for control over this area of the map. There's never a bad place to have wars, there's just very optimal ones at certain times in the game. Early 20 minutes here into this one. Baron Nashor will be difficult for either team to kill. We don't expect that to be much of an objective. As we mentioned, the Drakes are down for now as well, so it's only the turrets, it's only really inside the lanes. You don't really see anything important happen.
Certainly. And at this point, it's just more about extending these leads, looking for a team fight or looking to siege up and get something done. And Samsung has the ability to kind of push SKT back off of turret sometimes with that Jhin ultimate and kind of threatening dives and things like that, but they're probably going to have to move CuVee down if they want to have a big team fight.
Yeah.
He's the major source.
And CuVee, second item, Void Staff here. That is actually an item that shreds magic resistance and makes it so that your opponents, even if they're building resistances in magic resist, you will be able to negate some of it, and it's really good.
Yeah, there's two major things about that. If you don't know what a Void Staff is very much, that's okay. There's a lot of options for what Kennen can build. He went for the single most aggressive possible option here. He's not only good at continuing to do more damage to his lane opponent in Duke, but he's going to have the most actual team fight 5-on-5 damage he could have at this point in the game. However, he could have picked some much more risk-averse things that could make him invincible for 3 seconds in the middle of a team fight, and with how that champion's diving, turning invincible tends to be pretty useful. He's not going for that.
Yeah, and the fact that he is a mid-range mage, when he runs in, he's in the range of all of these guys who want to do damage to him, so staying invulnerable is very important, or having a higher HP pool, but he's going to be super squishy, so he's banking on killing them before they kill him.
Exactly. He either kills everybody all at once, or they turn on him and he drops immediately. That's going to be the real big thing. That little pink ninja is what we're caring about here.
And that's why so much of it is down to coordination. You know, the team needs to pile in at the same time. It can't just be a solo mission for CuVee. And Ambition needs to be in there at the same time. And CoreJJ flying in and shielding him up, and Ruler using his ultimate. And when you combine all these things together, it becomes very chaotic for SKT, because you have all the AoE damage coming out, and you have these bullets flying in from the Jhin. It's all these things that you have to dodge and deal with, and it's really, really tough, actually, to deal with it all at once.
I really agree. You're seeing CuVee play really smartly around his turret. These players have played so many games, they understand how much damage the minions take. You saw him hit all the minions once, wait for the turret to shoot, and then hit it afterwards. And it's like, yeah, I know how much damage that'll do. I'll get the last hit. I'll get the gold credit for that. If he didn't play it that way, he'd miss out on 100 gold or so. Arrow comes in the mid lane and dodged away.
Yep. Ruler had to flash though, and that's that summoner down. And you know, with this build from Ashe, you get a lot of cooldown reduction, and you can use those ultimates very frequently to look for those picks.
See the reverse happen right here. Jhin opening up with the curtain call. Lands 1, lands 2, lands 3, and gets the 4th out in time, but it is still blocked. And there's the engage. One already picked up by CuVee. Can they find any more? Shotgun comes in. A lot of stuns out from the Gnar. The kickback, though, onto Zach. The re-engage comes in. They're trying to pick up some kills, and it's actually the 1-for-1. That squishy Kennen build does pay off. It's the 1-for-1 overall.
So many low health bars here from SKT. They were lucky to get out with all their lives as Duke and Blank almost died. It's just the one victim for now.
The biggest thing that comes out of this is if you look at the summoner spells used from both sides, they pretty much used everything, and Dragon is up in 40 seconds here. So those of them that have those cooldown reduction abilities and able to get their ultimate back up in time will have a really good time in this next fight.
Fighting for the turret, but it's still being defended. Still works out nicely for Samsung Galaxy. The re-engage
back.
It's here for Blank. He's trying to get some damage in, but not quite enough. How about the re-engage by Duke on Gnar? Not going to land that one either, and that's a turret kill. Well earned by Samsung Galaxy. The question is, though, yes, with the Drake spawning, who can get to it?
It certainly is, and it's been so high priority for Samsung the whole series. They have claimed the first 2 of this one. They'd love to get the next one as well, because getting that extra HP and mana regen from that Ocean Dragon is going to allow you to kind of siege and set these plays up even better.
Ah, it is Ocean. Tricked me. Thank you. Still. Started off, the tidal wave didn't prevent all 4 shots from the Jhin ultimate from coming through, but that was a great teleport from CuVee, who ended up stunning Faker and ended up getting the kill simultaneously onto the AD carry. So he was
really good follow-up to be able to take him down, but SKT's looking for a fight now. They've caught Crown. He has no flash, remember.
Goog able to get away from some of that, and CoreJJ safe enough in the backside. A trade of cooldowns, no deaths, but a flash also out from the corner.
No, Ruler got killed by Faker off screen.
Oh, he did, so it's a 5v4, and it's all that SKT wants, except to fight this battle even more. Crown caught up by the bubble. There's the elastic slingshot. He's almost dead. The Viktor's running out of health, and that's going to be the kill picked up. 2-0 to SKT. They have control.
So well done, and Faker capitalizing on the fact that Ruler didn't have a flash and was able to flash in and try to get that kill. So very, very well done there.
Yeah, when I was talking about the summoner spell advantage, Faker got his ultimate back, had the flash up because everybody else had basically used it, and kills Ruler on the side of the fight. So honestly, this is just...
Yeah, here it is. Look at it. Flash, shockwave, that's the ultimate, and takes him out so quickly.
And Ruler's like, come on, man, I'm a whole screen away from you when that happens. You think you're safe, but you really have to play even further back. So he was zoned away from his team. Really well done from Blank and Faker here because they come around the top side and pincer in Crown. So he has no options left. He has no way to get away here.
Certainly does not. And the CC was just chained very, very well. You know, the Nami bubble into the Zach Alaxis slingshot, and they're able to take down Crown pretty well. And now the gold is basically right back to dead even. And this Kennen, who is so strong in the early game, is going to be at this point where he's starting to struggle because Spirit Visage has been completed for Duke. That's a big ticket magic resist item. It's going to give him a lot more health with all these 3 items. He's going to be pretty tanky. And CuVee may struggle to kind of burst him down and in sustained fights. That's where Gnar wins out, and that's what you had talked about.
Yeah, when Gnar completes that little icy hammer, the frozen mallet.
Icy hammer.
The icy hammer, right? The frozen mallet. Every auto attack that he does will slow. So when he hits CuVee can't get away, and Kennen relies on movement speed to get away. So as a Gnar with Duke, you just chase him down.
For a bit on the Ruler, gets in a range and gets some of it done, but the enchanted crystal arrow did not land. However, he's got some trades onto Ambition. He's trying to get away. Shockwave, though, deletes him from the map. Blank gets a kill credit, but how about the re-engage? Curtain calls on. Shot 1, 2, 3, 4, and not enough really done right there. So SKT finding another kill for themselves.
Yeah, this is really SKT and their composition starting to turn on. We talked about the long-range engage. You have to respect it. And it's so hard to deal with because the arrow flies in, then Zach flies in, and it's really, really tough to escape.
Flying in for even more, but Crown able to defend himself well enough. And the Deadly Flourish not going to mean nearly enough either. So they're going to be all right with this one, but SKT, yes, in control. And now trying to play for the Vision to take over the Baron area as we crushed into about 30 minutes in. That starts becoming a really more palatable objective to go for.
And simultaneously, you can see SKT playing the map. They ended up getting the blue buff away from Samsung Galaxy and putting it onto Faker again. So they're basically taking everything that they can on the map when they see somebody show themselves from Samsung's side.
And this is kind of feeling like back to the first couple of games where SKT was able to really control vision around the Baron. That's where they've really excelled.
Yeah.
Denying any vision in, killing off any wards that Samsung places, and making it dangerous for them to kind of check in and find out if they're going to be killing this Baron. And we all know how powerful it is, and we've seen that throughout this series. Those who get the Baron often win the games.
Yeah, you get a huge chunk of gold, and ooh.
Shockwave meant some damage, but CoreJJ is able to slink away with his life and doesn't have to burn too many spells for it. SKT, though, are now winning off those last 2 kills they picked up, plus that top lane outer turret they grabbed just a second ago. It's a reasonable 2,000 gold lead for SK Telecom right here.
Yeah. Faker, though, no longer has his Ghost and used his ultimate, which will be back up fairly shortly. But he used that on a support to try and get a pick, to try and single him out and just kill him really quickly. But it's a support, and he ended up using a summoner spell for it. So Faker, it is possible that he pays for that in the future.
Yeah, if they fight recently enough that the ulti isn't available, then that's going to mean quite a bit. The Ghost can also, of course, mean a little bit here. Samsung Galaxy fighting back for some wards, and in fact, they've cleared the pit successfully right now. And it's currently darkness for SKT, but it doesn't really mean all that much, to be honest. SKT fighting for control over both rivers, top and bottom. Baron and Dragon spawning on those respective locations. Duke steals away some of the wolves, and he's going to recall, and looks like these players mostly have done what we call resetting. They head back to base, they refill their health and mana pools, they buy all their items, they spend all their gold, and then they venture back out on the map to fight for the next objective.
And that next objective very likely going to be the Baron, as there's been so much vision placed around it, and we'll have to see if Samsung can keep eyes on it. And it also has to be mentioned that it's very risky for SKT to actually just attempt it, because if you get caught in the Baron pit, with all this AoE that's coming out from the Viktor and from the Kennen, these guys with their AoE ultimates hitting everybody, you could lose a fight very, very quickly. So although SKT has felt in control, it can swing the other way.
Exactly. Both of these teams actually have really good zone control, where the Orianna ball creates a zone of pressure where you can't walk there. Viktor, Crown, still does that, and so does CuVee. So their threat ranges you have to respect, and especially when you're walking through an area like Wolf is, where he's walking back and forth in a choke point, those are places that you definitely don't want to be against these two compositions. So you want to fight out in the open.
And you can see how bad the vision is now for for Samsung Galaxy here. You can see Faker sitting inside this pit, fighting over ward control, and you can see like how difficult it is for Ambition to do much of anything. Gets caught up in the air, able to jump away, and Blank on the backside, maybe, but unfortunately he gets quite caught out, and he's going to be stuck with his passive as Guardian Angel, as well as his passive. It'll take a long time to actually kill him off. Still running out of HP. Shockwave catches only Ambition, nearly kills him. CuVee in the back line. It's a double kill. They've already got 2. Looking for the third. That's Faker dead, and Samsung Galaxy in complete control.
And Blank subs in, but he makes a massive mistake. Split up from the rest of his team there. He flies in on the side, but he doesn't have the support of his team, and it means Samsung, they win the fight. They come up massive with CuVee TPing in, getting that flank. He kills them off. They get the Baron. Huge for Samsung.
They had used all of the tools to keep CuVee out of the fight. Wolf used the tidal wave to interrupt Ruler, and then Blank jumped in with the elastic slingshot, and he blew his ultimate as well. They couldn't keep that Kennen away.
And I would love to see that one more time. Watch CuVee come in there, and that is really what he needed to do, and he was able to land that. And here is the TP. And look at it. The ward was very well placed. You can teleport to a ward. He flashes in. He Zonias, which makes him go golden. He can't take damage during this, but his ultimate is still dealing damage, which means there's not really a way to fight back other than just running away.
Absolute massacre, and that's what SSG needed to get back into it. Samsung right back in control, and another Drake.
It's the exact moment they wanted. The Ocean Drake is up for them. Nice timing for them. They can match that buff count. There's no reason for SKT to contest this in any real way. And yeah, you saw Blank charge and then stop the elastic slingshot.
Yeah, that was a 1,400 crit from Ruler.
Yeah,
like, I feel bad as a jungler. 1,000 damage is all I can ever do.
Yeah, so it's great that last fight actually segues into, oh, hold on. We got to segue into this real quick. Tidal wave comes out. They're going to block the shot.
Ambition's behind.
And they're going to get one kick back. Oh, Faker's already dead. What a beautiful play by Ambition making it happen. 5v4 again with a Baron buff.
And Ambition just snuck around them, kicks in Faker. He's been doing this all day. This is how they won the last game, and now this is how they may be able to win this game, as most of the wave clear, the mage who can kill all these minions off, is dead now.
And that was absolutely beautiful, because now they're getting even more off of it with this Baron buff. They get to use their Kennen in the bottom lane, they get to use the minions in the middle lane, and now they get to take these turrets.
And they're going to keep pushing for more. Ambition has been hailed as the best player to never qualify for the World Championship. He started his career as a mid laner, as playing a different role. 2 years ago, he decided, I'm going to become a jungler instead. Joins one of the, in a sense, at this point, what was considered one of the weaker teams in Korea. Ooh, nice QSS to get away for that one. And now, in the World Championship Finals, making game-winning plays, and they are looking to tie up the series against the favorites of the World Championship.
And to put it in context how impressive this is, if this goes to Game 5, that has never happened before in the World Finals. We have not gone to a Game 5 before. Generally speaking, people were saying, you know what, SKT versus Rocks, that's the finals. That's the big challenge for them. If they win, they're going to crush Samsung. So Samsung battling back from 2-0. If they could win this game and force Game 5, will be monumental. And here's Ambition once more.
This is so good.
So
because
beautiful.
It's set up by Ruler using the ultimate to slow, and then that puts Faker on the other side of Blank because he wants Blank to body block the damage of Ruler from him, so he gets a clean kickback.
And Ambition was utilizing his whole kit to kind of do this smooth movement. You can use your safeguard to jump to a ward or a teammate. He jumps to a ward, then he flashes, moving twice as far. And
looking for a bit more, looking to pick up Faker again, but Ambition this time is stops out for the team, gets shockwaved in, and finally Faker gets revenge. Bang gets the kill, and the re-engage comes in. This could be great for SKT. They've got 2 already, and they've got the tools to chase down everybody else. CuVee's still around, but it's a 5v3.
And that was very ambitious from Samsung. Crown, one of their big damage dealers, was not even with the team, so they engaged in, thinking we can pick off Faker, but SKT, they're in position. They respond well. They keep Faker alive. They get 2 kills, and that really nullifies a lot of that power that they have.
And that's why that move that Ambition had made at the middle lane was so good, because it was so smooth previously. He just tried to do it again, and that's what it looks like when it's not 100% smooth.
And it's also when you're missing your flash, right? Not having that extra movement ability to jump behind, to teleport behind Faker and use your Dragon's Rage to kick him in. So here he goes. He hits the Q onto a minion. He's trying to get behind him, but Blank actually used his ultimate very quickly and knocked him up in the air, so he could not reposition himself. So a very good reaction there from Blank to defend Faker.
Really slick as well by Duke. He teleports in, flashes, and then ults forward and manages to pin someone into the wall as well to make that second kill happen. That was a big play from Duke to make that second one come through, burning his ultimate again to get away. But actually tagged up by the root. It might not mean enough, though. He's trying to get away with this one. Actually, they're playing the boomerang. This could be all the damage they need. They're trying to break down Duke. Couple more shots will do it. He gets away with it. But maybe the cooldowns are still back. They get all the damage they wanted. CuVee gets the kill on Duke.
And that is so big. In the earlier games, Duke was always the guy getting out of those situations, and now he gets caught, he gets taken down. 2 inhibitors are already dead for SKT. We know how hard it was for them to defend when 3 were down, and here's Ambition. He's looking to make that same flank play. He's threatening it, so they have to back off.
Jumps over the wall, but still gets caught up by the arrow, into the re-engage by Blank, and the kill comes through. Now it's Crown looking for a bit more, but not going to find enough damage. Wolf will survive the whole encounter. 1-for-1 long term.
It's still enough pressure, though, to get that turret.
And it's 4v4. They could actually continue to push here, and I think they will.
CuVee,
and there goes CuVee.
Flash to dive in, gets a couple flashes out of SKT, runs right back out, but still gives him control. And look how fast that turret goes down. Kill or not, he made the retreat to give his team time to kill a turret that cannot run away.
Certainly did, and they are looking to take more than that. The 3rd inhibitor looking to be going down, because in the bot side, the super minions are killing the Nexus turret, so Faker has to run down there and kill these off. He has to.
It's a battle of a lot of competing points of attention. The minions coming in were definitely big. Duke just now respawned. The window that SSG actually had to make that play just closed, with now it being a 4v5 until their own champions respawn here, where they're waiting for Ambition on Lee Sin to come back from death. And a very tight timing where they made the clutch call, knowing he's going to be back up, knowing it's only for a few more seconds of the 4v4, and knocking the inhibitor down and having now complete map control.
Just incredible. And at this point, there's multiple options. They know that there's the Baron coming up in 50 seconds, Elder as well, so you can wait and play it safe, and if you can grab up that Baron and buff up all these super minions, you can go in, and it's almost impossible for your opponents to deal with 6 super minions at once that are then again empowered by the Baron, making them even stronger. To even just kill those off takes almost all your team's focus, but then there's 5 enemy champions you also have to deal with.
And this is just going to be an awful situation for SKT. Not only are they missing all 3 inhibitors, both neutral objectives that are high priority are coming up. The Elder Dragon and the Baron at almost the exact same time here, and it is a big Elder Dragon for Samsung because they have 3 Drakes, and it gets more power for each one that's been taken.
The ball is entirely in Samsung Galaxy's court. Even though the gold looks very similar, 68 to 72,000, it doesn't seem that far apart. Samsung Galaxy has so much control. You just saw a glimpse of SKT's view. How little they can see of this map. Baron Nashor has spawned, and they've got to run through a lot of wards to get control back. And
Samsung doesn't have to force this. If SKT comes, you can just back off.
Well, CuVee is looking for a flank. You can see that Kennen, he's trying to kill Faker.
He's going to go in, and he actually gets the kill.
Blank's trying to steal the Baron, though. Blank's trying to steal the Baron.
We've got more of the fight. Blank is going in, and he's not going to get it. It is secured by Ambition, and this could mean GG for Samsung Galaxy. They've already picked up 1 kill. They're looking for more. Duke is running. Tidal Wave comes down. A nice escape out from the Zac, but no, he's trying to Bloblets, and actually that will be a kill onto Blank. Now the re-engage. Curtain call is in. Do they have the damage that they need? That answer is likely to be yes, but first, it's Bang who picks up 2 kills, and might have just saved the game.
The team split up. There was split calls there. Half of them were chasing Blank, who is not important, and Bang, the carry, was left alone, and now here comes Ruler. He needs to get in there and deal some damage.
Gets the root to get the damage onto that tanky jungler. One more shot, and yes!
He has his root. If they can do any damage here, if Ambition can hit someone, he can root him.
Ooh, not going to land the damage. And looks like it'll be a pretty safe retreat now for SKT.
They can go to Elder.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They have their jungler still available. Ambition is up with a smite. They just killed Blank. He is not up for 40 seconds. Kill Elder now because you have your AD carry. But no, they have to back off because they're afraid of Faker.
They're afraid of Faker respawning. They're afraid of what Bang could have done to them as well. Ashe can definitely belt out ridiculous amounts of damage. The champion that Bang is playing, if untouched, can carry a team fight by herself.
Ooh, this is actually a really interesting adaptation here from CuVee. He has a Banshee's Veil. So Banshee's Veil will block a single spell about every 45 seconds.
Yeah.
And 40 seconds. So he's making sure that he can get in there so that he isn't slowed. He can absorb an Ashe arrow, a Nami tidal wave, whatever it is, so he can make plays like this.
And here he is. He's camping out. He catches Faker. That's the full combo. That's the Proto Belt jumping forward, doing that damage, and they're able to get the smite on the Baron as well. Looking for a fight once more.
Looking for a little bit here. It's Samsung Galaxy trying to take control of the bottom jungle, trying to take over SKT's territory. Snipe down it goes. They stole away the red buff. Ambition, a little greedy trying to take this Krugs, but he should not get punished for it.
And he is going to be able to grab that, but he could be looking for a flank even. This is the thing that they have to keep in mind. He sees one. Will he go for it?
Damage. He's going to look for much here. Jumps around, gets away from Blank, but he's still by himself on this one. And Ambition might just get heavily punished. Shockwave is in. The damage is there, and yes, he's punished for that play.
Ambition, what he was trying to do was line up a kick to kick Wolf through Blank and CC both of them. But instead, he ends up getting himself killed. That was way too greedy to keep chasing in there. They did not know where their opponents were. They didn't have the vision, and Ambition just gave away a big advantage because now the inhibitors are respawning and they can't go for Elder Dragon without a jungler.
And they didn't need to make that kind of risk.
And they even have Baron, right?
Very silly. Very, very silly play from him. And these are the kind of things that can let SKT back into the game because that should be them getting Elder, cleaning up all the inhibitors again, and almost guaranteeing a victory.
Exactly. And they could just clean up the inhibitors if they had him up 100% because they have the Baron buff. By the time that Ambition's back up and walks back towards the Elder Dragon, that's when it'll already be expired for the Baron buff. So window will be gone.
Very likely. And those inhibitors, we see the middle lane one and the bot lane one are already back. Ambition's still dead for a little bit more time. Thankfully for them, at least, SKT hasn't taken away the Elder Dragon. They are still the guys with those dragons killed from earlier, so they'll get more from killing it, and SKT still has to worry about it.
SKT, just like the last game, gets comparatively much less than Samsung Galaxy does from that Elder Dragon.
And they're going for it, and this is something where Duke is probably going to have to TP over because he's still in the top side, but they're trying to delay. Duke wants to kill off a turret, get that gold for themselves before he TPs down, but he's got to do it quick. And, oh, they reset it by accident, I think.
Well, there's the TP coming through anyway, so.
Okay, that's completed teleport. They could disengage and just take
They have force shot from Jhin. They're looking to try to combo this.
Looking to try to burst it down. Do they have the damage? It's still at 4,000. That seems unlikely. It's going to be a bit of damage on the Wolf. Now they're re-engaged. Head away pop. One shot, two shots, and out he goes. CuVee doesn't quite get the damage, and he can't kill off Bang. Pops the Zhonya's hourglass. Blank still controlling the front line. A huge Mega Gnar into Shockwave. That's already one for SKT. Can Samsung trade any of it back? They're trying to get the damage. The shots, they're not quite enough. One kill comes through, but it's only just the one. Ruler did not kill Bang. He could have. He's on the chase. The shot comes through, and he takes him down. Bang, bang, he's dead. And another one for Crown.
Oh my, that was such a crazy fight there. Ruler accidentally misclicked on the support instead of the AD, but he does clean up the kill afterwards, and they're looking to end the game here.
It's 4 versus 2. They've got all the tools they need for Samsung Galaxy from a 0-2 deficit to bring it in to the game 5. They've got about 40 seconds to work with and a couple of minions coming into the base.
Well, you can see that Blank is actually cutting the minion wave. He's thinning it out. He's making sure that they don't have enough.
This one minion could be a game-winning minion. It's not going to be enough. Gets killed off.
This is the same thing that happened last time where Bengi was able to cut the minion waves and stall out the game, and now Blank is the guy to do it. They need to escort in the minion waves. And Ruler gets caught. Oh, Faker may have given his way his life for that.
Faker dies for it. What a great turnaround. He nearly got the kill, but instead, it's Samsung Galaxy with control.
TP coming in for CuVee, and now again they can try to end the game. They shouldn't have been able to, but Faker died.
And they're going to find Blank with this one. They're going to shut him down. He will pop the Guardian Angel. He will still have 4 ways of reviving, but he's going to lose the passive, and this time, this one's going to stick. It takes you 3 times to kill a Zac with the Guardian Angel, and it's a 5v3. The health bars are pretty good. The minions are coming in. They've got super minions as well because of the inhibitor takes. And this is the fight that might bring us to game 5. The dive in the back line. Tries to kick him in. A nice play by Bang to get out from it. 3v5. Arrow's going to land. They get the stun on the CuVee. There's the ulti in for Duke. The re-engage for CuVee. It's going to kill absolutely everyone. And that's going to do it. We've never had a game 5 in the World Final. And Samsung Galaxy, give us it now.
For the first time ever, Samsung battles back. They are looking for the reverse sweep. We are going to game number 5. Can you believe it?
Oh my gosh. After the first 2 games, the first one was fairly close, and the second one was a stomp. And game 3, they were down 9.7 thousand gold, and somehow managed to make what I believe to be the biggest comeback loss SKT ever suffered. They were on the verge of their second 3-0 sweep final win, their 3rd final win, and Samsung Galaxy have now brought us to game 5.
And Samsung, it's just the clutch moments here. That's what's pulling it out for them. These games are neck and neck, but they are having great performances from almost every individual member. Yeah. CuVee, that game, solo kill. Advantage goes to him with a little help from Ambition. Big team fight ultimates. Exactly, and the pink ward in the bottom side. So there's just all of these things that are coming together here, and then Ambition, it doesn't matter if you put in Bengi, it doesn't matter if you put in Blank, he's outsmiting everybody.
He's smashing everybody. Ambition is playing series of his life, quite possibly.
And that's the thing, is he's not the flashiest player at all.
Oh, he's not some flashy plays tonight, though.
Yeah, he's not that much of a flashy player, though, historically. He's the calculated guy. He's the one who's not going to go for those huge risks. And this game, he's still going for them a little bit. You're seeing them backfire, but that's a good suit for him because he's being a leader for the team in a moment where they have their backs up against the wall and are 1 game away from losing it.
1 game away. 1 final game to figure out who is the 2016 League of Legends World Championship, the favorite that everyone had in SKT, or the underdog team who lost their entire roster at the beginning of 2015, a year and a half ago, rebuilt it from scratch, the team that no one thought could do it, and they are almost here. And now here in League of Legends, we have a tradition. There's a song called Silver Scrapes that we only play in the break heading into Game 5, and it's time for that now. Enjoy. We'll be back with Championship Point after this.